amount of less amount of fuel because we're using more efficient terms of gas consumption. And we also move to bigger appliances and multiple appliances. Before we used to have one matka being addressed one single pot. Now you can see there are 3 different burners which can be used at the same time. So as we move forward, we need to understand what are we doing moving to this journey. So as you can see, this is how a typical energy usage looks like. You can see my HVAC, which is 46% of it. That is an entire almost 50, it's almost close to 50%. That means any kitchen, if I'm having 1 kilowatt of power usage, 0.5 of it is purely going to HVAC. That can be in terms of both ventilation as well as cooling. You can see there is a 38%, that is almost close to 50%, which is again coming to equipments. What exactly are these kitchen equipment being used? Again, in that with the addressing story. Then you have lighting, which is 12%, and you have 4% refrigeration. Refrigeration, by the nature of the system as it functioning itself, uses a lot of energy because they are throwing the heat from inside the equipment to the atmosphere. That is why they have a significant amount of 4%. Again, can we look at what are the opportunities in terms of energy efficiency? So first, let's look at proper sizing and design. So if you have properly designed kitchen, you have a very good advantage of reducing energy consumption. Second thing is monitoring operation and occupancy for the group. One of the parameters here I would like to discuss is a lot of people do not understand what it means to understand occupancy and operations. The operation determines the number of equipment currently being used. Occupancy is purely for the manpower currently working. So this can be addressed by having a demand control ventilation, which I will discuss. Then we move on to transition. The transition from kitchen equipment, that is from gas to electrical or induction. With the current scenario where we have global warming and the global warming potential of a lot of gas, refrigerants and a lot of gases, we have slowly siphoned out kitchen, that is by using kitchen gas powered kitchen equipment to electrical induction. One of the reasons was because it is more efficient, that is my electrical induction is much more efficient, and I also have little advantage of not having to use a gas ban. Every hotel industry which has any kind of gas ban requires a special permission for this. By eliminating a gas ban, I have eliminated a requirement to go for a new license itself. So this is why people are starting to opt for going electrical or induction. Then adequate advantage for optimum performance of kitchen refrigerant equipment. This is another point I would like to also highlight that when you do not design the kitchen with proper ventilation, you end up using a lot of power because of high amount of energy being gathered by the refrigeration equipment. This I was slowly discussing it. One of the opportunities, one more will be zoning of kitchen batteries. One of the factors where we can distributing the amount of energy usage is by zoning it. What do we mean by zoning is you can have special batteries of kitchen equipment. Is based on the kitchen cuisine or the type of operations. Some hotels go for breakfast, some hotels go for lunch, some go for dinner. So they have 3 different batteries of kitchen operations. Some hotels go specifically with terms of cuisine. Like I can have Oriental battery, I can have an Indian battery, I can have an Arabian battery. So based on the type of battery or kitchen battery I'm looking at, I can zone it in such a way that I know what my equipment usage is. Supposing I'm going with in terms of my time base, that is breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I know exactly I'm using only a significant portion of the equipment only of my requirement. That means when I have my lunch, I know what power consumption will be. I'm not operating more the breakfast and dinner equipment. Same way, if I'm looking at the cuisines, I have a different requirement here. That is, when I'm having a breakfast meal being made, I'm not going to cater to Arabian equipment, Arabian cuisines, because my breakfast is generally again looking at dosa, idli, poha, or rotis or parathas. So I know I'll not be using a lot of extra equipment than for use. Same way, as we move to different type of zoning, you can have a good advantage of having a reducing the amount of energy usage. By bifurcating it, you also reduce the requirement of actually using multiple systems at the same time. Then going to upgradation. Upgradation of kitchen equipment with new technologies. the technologies in kitchen equipment have been very, very fulfilling because they have come up with very, very new technologies which has helped our cooking appliance being very energy efficient. One of the two parameters that I add here is one is gas efficiency. We have more used gas batteries for a very long time. This has been specially addressed by having a more energy efficient gas burners. This basically has a larger amount of area cooking more thoroughly and more evenly. So my need to have high flame is totally eliminated. That is one portion of it. Then the second part is having a new type of kitchen equipment where I can do multiple cooking at the same time. One of them is called a combi oven. A combination oven has multiple banks of cooking in which I can roast in one top layer, I can fry in the middle layer, and I can also bake in the third layer. So this advantage has helped me to decrease both my energy consumption and having multiple equipment pieces. So moving on. So let's come to design stage energy efficiency opportunities. So again, we need to understand where to start from. So first, we should understand what are the source of heat. So first, our source of heat is gas equipment. The gas equipment can have a significant heat rejection from radiation. If you go to any restaurant, if you go to any hotel, you'll see that there is a tandoor or a tawa standing quite next to each other. That region is a very hot spot in the kitchen. The reason being, the tandoor by the nature of the equipment used itself radiates a lot of heat. Same way, if I'm looking at tawa, it is for making dosas or for making rotis, that radiates a significant amount of heat coming from it. So this makes the life of the chef very, very difficult to work around that. So by reducing this, by reducing the opportunity, by reducing the energy in the equipment, we can find a way to save energy. Second one is steam equipment. Steam equipment specifically is where I'm having a lot of significant amount of use of my steam appliances. That is, I can have a boiler next to it, or I can have a dedicated steamer to that. The steam equipment releases a tremendous amount of steam in the kitchen during kitchen operations. The idea here is you're using steam as a reason for heating up all your rice or your milk or your water of any kind. So this uses a lot of heat. One of the reasons people are using because steam is readily usable by terms of heating water. One way to actually take it forward is by having thermic fluid. A huge amount of, I would say, ashrams and a lot of underground kind of places where they have a mega central kitchen, they tend to go with the thermic fluid operation based kitchen equipment. That is, you have a thermic fluid which is running around, being sort of pumped around to different equipment for the heating purpose purely. So this helps us doing two things. One is I'm not utilizing water. Second thing is I'm utilizing this thermic fluid to help me make my kitchen equipment better. Then again, coming to the third point, which is a hot kitchen with low ventilation. A lot of places we have addressed is due to the cost parameter, people do not go with the fresh air. That is, when I have a kitchen, I do not address the fresh air part of it. So whenever you're exhausting any kind of equipment, that is any kind of fume which is generated by the equipment, you need to provide a fresh air back into the same significant point. The problem here to happen is again because of cost, people do not do that. There are two things which can happen here tremendous. One is because of the lack of fresh air, you are depleting the amount of oxygen inside the kitchen, which makes productivity very, very difficult to have. When you do that, your chefs are constantly going out for walks because they're feeling suffocated. This is not addressed very, very much because people do not understand the psychology behind it. If you have a proper area where you have a proper ventilation, that helps you. But one of the things which people go again for cost-cutting reasons, they keep the area open. That is, they sort of keep the windows open. When you do that, that again adds another point, which is you end up losing out on your maintenance, which is you are not able to control the atmosphere of the kitchen. That means you are addressing a lot of vermins, a lot of fleas, a lot of flies coming in. That is, you have a biological point which is entering from that windows. That is why we need to have a kitchen as airtight as possible so that you can have the part of microbial content in that. Third part is again, when you do not have proper ventilation, the kitchen slowly starts picking up heat. As my kitchen becomes hotter, my refrigeration system finds it more and more difficult to release heat. A refrigeration cycle or an undercounted refrigerator releases the heat back into the same working area to keep the food inside it. Now, if my area inside which I'm working is very, very cold, but I need to release the heat into the atmosphere around it, but that same atmosphere is very, very hot, it becomes difficult because my source where I'm throwing the heat out to is becoming hot. So when I'm not able to throw this hot out, it affects my performance of the application. That leads to lower COPs and loss of equipment manufacturing. So understanding that there are two ways here. Again, you lose out on COP by having a high amount of electrical consumption. Second thing is the lifetime of the equipment goes up drastically because your system is overpowering every day over and over. So the motor is constantly running at high load all the time. That leads to a burnout and constantly releases a lot of issues. Moving on. As you can see, my kitchen equipment. A lot of people, when they look at the kitchen, they are scared of two things. One is to understand what kind of kitchen equipment am I looking at, and what is my how to address that. So I'll just brief you on what type of kitchen equipment are available, so you understand where you can point of power saving can be done. Okay, so these are the different types of kitchen equipment. You have a burner range, you have a griddle hot tawa or dosa tawas. Then you have tilting equipment that is making for your rice or dal. You have ovens for your baking or for your roasting sections. You have fryers or kadais which help you making samosas or frying any kind of potatoes and stuff. Then you have chapati making machines used in central kitchens. You have steam equipment which releases both steam as well as being used for using like making momos and densas and stuff like that. And you have charcoal operated gas operated fan like Tangerous Bay. Then you have refrigerating equipment and food bottles. When you look at this, each of these equipment are varying in their own way. My burner has a lot of radiation, but also has a lot of convective heat. My fryers have a lot of convective heat, but very low amount of radiative heat. When I'm looking at chapati making machine, they have very, very high amount of convective heat coming in. Same way when I'm looking at dosa tawas, chapati tawas, they have a lot of radiative heat. So each of these equipment have their own way of releasing heat. So this can be affected by the performance of the equipment as well as the staff. Moving on. As you can see, we have transitioned from gas cooking to electric cooking. One of the reasons is because gas by nature itself, it first heats the equipment around and then the food inside. So this is again using about 10 to 15% of your heat is being lost over there because you are using all energy to heat the appliance first and then the food. This can be eliminated by using an induction. That is, this helps you decreasing the medium itself. Second part of it is you are using a gas that can be PNG, it can be LPG. So when you are burning this gas, a small portion of it goes out as losses. That losses can be burned gases which take the heat along with it. So this is totally eliminated because in the electrical induction appliance, you are not using a flame at all. So your temperature is more even and it is more easy to cook. Then this is the option where you can significantly decrease your energy consumption by moving to electrical induction based heat. You can come down to almost 25 to 38%. Again, depending on the type of equipment you are using, it depends on how much amount of energy reduction can be done. If you're looking at our tawa, which is gas fired, which can be converted to electrical induction tawa, it can also bring down the temperature even more evenly and it can help you keeping a more lower reduced GW. Moving on. This is the ventilation equipment of a kitchen. So just give you a brief understanding of how a kitchen equipment ventilation cycle goes. I have equipment here where I'm cooking on my equipment. I have a chimney which is sucking up all the air. I have an exhaust duct which is basically a pipeline for the flue gas to be removed. And I have an ASP which is an electrostatic precipitator or scrubber which treats the air so that the released air is sort of clean and treated between the atmosphere. Then I have an inclined blower. Other side of it, I have a makeup air unit which is my fresher unit which supplies cold tempered air into the atmosphere for the comfort of the client as well as the kitchen IAT. Now, in this, the most critical aspect here is the chimney. The way you can address is because if your each equipment is properly sized, but if you undersize the equipment that is your chimney, you will lose it on a lot of problems. Again, positioning. These are the type of chimneys I would wanted to show you. So you have a wall mounted, you have a back shelf, you have a passover, you have island, you have a double island, and you have island. Now, as you can see, each of them are catering to a specific requirement. That is, you can see a passover is specifically used for small USRs where you have a live cooking being done in front of you. This is generally done in terms of if you go somewhere small uh, tortilla place or something like a taco bell, where your food is being made right in front of you. This doesn't require a lot of heat to be used. But when you're going to a back shelf or a wall mounted canopy, there you have a significant amount of temperature as well as fuel that's being made. So here you can address it by properly positioning the equipment. If I do not position my equipment properly, I am decreasing the amount of energy which is required. Simple example here, my equipment position. As you can see, a recessed versus island. You can see there's not much difference between both of them. The only difference here is a one. Now, why am I having a 25 to 32% of decrease of flue gas, temperature, energy, as well as ventilation? Because this wall helps me create a sort of a barrier. This barrier is helping me contain the flue gas inside the chimney itself. Now, one of the reasons people prefer keeping it in the middle of the room is because they want to showcase their cooking to the client. This not a bad idea. It's very very helpful. But generally, for any five-star hotel, they try to keep the island type cooking to a more smaller type of kitchen operation. That is pasta making, omelette making, or dosa making. We do not do heavy fledged cooking in terms of island. Distance is generally preferred because it helps you create something called a Wanda effect. That is, when I'm cooking equipment, the flue gas which is being released during the cooking operation tends to go towards the wall first. If I do not have a wall, it tends to go out of the equipment in that side. So here what happens is to have the same equipment, I need to have a bigger hood. So one, my cost of my equipment goes up. Two, I need to have a higher ventilation rate to control that flue gas. So this is why we need to reduce this amount by providing a simple wall. One of the better ways what people do is they isolate it in a way such a way that they have a glass partition on three sides. Now this sort of becomes very very useful because it totally isolates the entire chimney and the equipment so that all the flue gases continue into the chimney. So any intervention by any kind will not be seen at all. Moving on. What is the feature of a good hood? We have capture, that is a good overhang. Overhang is nothing but the equipment distance between the and the kitchen equipment. A simple example here is you can see my equipment here stops only at this small, it's about 3 feet. But same thing, my kitchen equipment has to, my chimney has to be at least 4 feet. The reason is because as my kitchen equipment comes up, it becomes bigger and bigger. A simple visualization idea would be to look at a mushroom cloud from a nuclear bomb. It starts out very small, but as it rises higher and higher, it becomes bigger and bigger. So you can address that having a proper overhang. Second is containment. If my hood height, which is less than say 2 feet, which is 600 I am using out a lot of area to contain that. You can understand this by imagining the chimney as an upside down water tank. If the bigger my water tank is, the more amount of liquid or water I can store in it. Same way, if I have a bigger chimney with me, I can store more amount of flue gas before exhausting it. Then exhausting. Exhausting is proper if you have a proper filter area. Again, if you do not have proper filter area, that is, if I'm having a very small filter compared to the size of the hood, I'm doing two things. One is I'm trying to pull a lot of flue gas from a very small area. That has two problems here. One is it increases the sound because my area is very small, and two, my filtration efficiency goes up drastically. What do I understand? What do I mean by filtration efficiency? Is the smaller my filter is, the air passes through it with a higher velocity. When it moves to a higher velocity, the mechanical filter by nature itself is unable to filter because of velocity. There's a lot of bypass happening here. To avoid that, we try to keep a filter area as big as possible. It is at least about 500 mm is the general adequate for filter area. Again, I'm just trying to show how a kitchen operation looks like. This is a visualization, that is a thermograph of what my equipment is at 0.8 meter level, that is at the kitchen equipment level itself, and halfway across between from the equipment to the chimney. Halfway across, you will see that my room has become slightly bigger in size. As it goes up higher and higher, it induces the air around it and becomes bigger and bigger. As I mentioned before, it starts becoming bigger and bigger, just like a mushroom cloud in terms of a nuclear bomb. Now that means I need to have a very big volume of chimney to containing that. That is why a lot of people do not tend to go with this. If you have a properly sized kitchen equipment, that is my chimney, you you can significantly reduce your ventilation rates. That is, you can decrease your size of your blower, you can decrease the size of your ducts. Again, just want to show how it works. Like if I have a properly sized chimney, that is, if I equipment of say 3 feet and my chimney is of 4 feet, I am able to contain all the flue gas inside that. That is, I'm able to capture all the flue gas inside the equipment itself. If I do not have it, assuming that the lot of times we are seeing that the equipment manufacturer also makes the same type chimney. So this, for cost cutting sake, they may reduce the size of chimney, which leads to a higher ventilation rates. As your ventilation rates go up and up, your exhaust volume also goes higher. As your exhaust volume goes higher, your cost of your blower also goes up, your power required for running the blower also goes up, and the size of the equipment also goes up. So by having a simple, little bit bigger chimney, you are reducing the requirement to go with a bigger size blower and a bigger size ducts. As you can see, there is a convective heat which will be poured outside because of the smaller size of the equipment. Moving on. You can see a simple Sheeran optical imaging here. You will see that there is a small spillage happening at the end of the chimney there. Because of the smaller size of the chimney, and when I'm having the same amount of exhaust fluid for a bigger compared to a smaller one, you will see there's a lot of spilling happening here. Spillage is because it does not have the capture volume inside the chimney to contain all the flue gas. Now, if I do not have that, I will obviously end up having spillage. How do you address this? Is two things. Go for a bigger chimney, or second part is having a level distributor. A distributor is basically it generates a sort of a air curtain in front of the food so that it contains all that flue gas and doesn't allow to come out. And if you ever walk into a mall or any kind of IT building, you will see there has an air curtain right above the door. The idea here is so that isolate the hot air from outside coming in and cold air to go from outside to inside. Outside. Same idea here, what we're doing is, in the chimney itself, we are generating a small capture jet conductor where we are projecting all the air downwards such a way that it creates an air curtain. This air curtain is made in such a way that you do not let the flue gas come out and you do not let the air conditioning space go inside. Moving on. Again, what I meant by overhang here is, again, so I'm looking at the equipment here, we should have 6 inches on each side and 12 inches on the front. When I'm going with the island mounted orientation, I need to have 12 inches on all the equipment. That means if I'm having a kitchen equipment of say 3 feet by 3 feet, my chimney, that is, chimney size and island configuration should be at least 5 feet by 5 feet. That is 1 feet on both the sides and 1 feet on the center. That is why I need to have a bigger. If I have a wall mounted for the same thing, it can be, if I'm having 3 feet by 3 feet equipment, my foot size ends up becoming 4 feet by 5 feet. I hope this has been clear to everyone. If you have any doubts, you can reach out to me in question and answers. One of the ways of making reducing your consumption is by having something called a compensating hood or makeup air. What this basically is, it is a double cleaner. This has an exhaust cleaner where I'm sucking out all the flue gas, and I have a fresher cleaner where I'm supplying it. Now, this supplying air is for two reasons. One is for the comfort of the staff, majorly because we are working in the vicinity around the equipment. Second thing is to have a sort of an air curtain or the jet of air pushing and keeping the flue gas from not spilling out. This helps us in doing two things. One is saving energy in terms of conditioned air supply into the working area. Second thing is we are not increasing our ventilation rates because of smaller set of hoods. So these two can be eliminated by having a simple hood or a compensating hood of makeup air. Moving on. To put this in picture here, if you ever gone to a display kitchen of any hotel industry, you will see that there is a bank which is cooking right in front of each other. This, if it is kept in the main area where the clients are sitting, you will see the tonnage will go up very heavily. Now, how do you address this issue? There are one way to address this specifically here is to isolate the kitchen equipment totally inside the kitchen. That is, you have a totally back of the house kitchen. You do not have anything but the front of the house kitchen. But again, the appeal of cooking helps people bring in the clients. That is why people go with something like operation like this. So what we can do here is we can go with the compensating food, which has two types of fresh air being supplied. One, we can see the pink color, which is supplying the TFA, that is treated fresh air, which is being supplied through the grills from the ceiling. And second part is we have conditioned air, that is fresh air being supplied through the hood. Now, this fresh air supplied through the hood can be either it can be the same air being pumped out, filtered out, and pumped right into the atmosphere, or you can treat it by washing it. That is, you use a cellulose pad or air washer unit to cool down the temperature of the air to such a level that it doesn't have any kind of issues there. So this once it mixes, that is when my pink and my blue air mixes, I have proper thermal comfort temperature which is something into the kitchen. Now this can be done by two ways. One more is we have an air curtain being provided around the hood. As you can see, there is a jet of air falling right on top of the hood. So this creates a sort of an air curtain around the entire battery of equipment, so it does not allow the flue gas to be released outside. Same way, we are creating an air curtain for the staff who are working underneath it. So these help you keep a proper thermal comfort as well as proper operational excellence. Moving on. Exhaust blowers, the second part. Exhaust blower, as you can see, a lot of us, as we have grown, we are seeing a small propeller kind of fan being used as exhaust in our kitchens. A domestic kitchen can work with a propeller fan because your ventilation rate is not very high. That is why air volume for cooling or curing the heat out is not very huge. That is why propeller fan works very easy. But as they move bigger and bigger, people move into different kinds. They move to axial flow fan. Now, axial flow fan, there's an issue over here, is that axial flow fans are not meant for this kind of, that is, axial flow fans are not meant for kitchen ventilation. They are meant for basement ventilation. They are meant for staircase ventilation, but they are not meant for kitchen ventilation. The reason is because one of the primary factors is because the kitchen ventilation exhaust fumes has a lot of suspended particles, that is oil and a lot of gases in the air. Now, if I have this axial flow blower put for my use, I'm having about few issues to be here addressed here. That is one, I have flue gas being flowing over the motor, which ends up hitting the motor. So my operational efficiency of the motor can go down because of the heating aspect of it. Two, I can have a lot of oil deposition happening on the motor hub. Now this decreases the efficiency of the motor by purely because of insulation. As the oil tends to insulate the motor hub, the motor starts to heat up. I've had a lot of complaints from local clients who say they put axial flow blower, they end up burning multiple times their motor and they will rerun again and again. And then for the same cost of multiple rerunning with the cost of the axial flow blower, they could have gone with a proper design centrifugal fan. Now this fan, what you're saying here is called as SIW fan or a single inlet, single build fan. Now this fan, you can see the air is coming from the left and being released from the top side. The beauty of this motor is that the motor is totally not in contact with the air at all. When it is not in contact, you are totally easy to service it. You can do a lot of maintenance there, and also because it's not in winter, it is not heating up. So this helps you two ways that it will not reduce it will bring down your sound, you can bring down your volume, you can also improve operational efficiency. One more point I'd like to add here, as a fan engineering enthusiast, is that axial flow blowers do not have that much static pressure to push across. That is, they have very, very large volume capacity to work with, but their static pressure, that is to push the air from one part to another, is very low. That is where centrifugal fans come into play. That is, you are getting a centrifugal fan for both the pressure as well as the volume. Moving on, what kind of blower should I go with? Is basically this. In a commercial kitchen ventilation, a backward curved inclined blower is always preferred. The reason is because one, as you can see, load elimination of the fan. That is, beyond a certain load, the system that is my blower performs flawlessly. It does not fail immediately. It can perform to a certain level of time. Second thing is you can see the self-tuning orientation of fan. The fan blade is oriented in such a way, that is positioned in such a way that it is never in proper containment of the oil. If you see a forward curve fan, it will have a sort of a scoop-like orientation. This allows the oil to be collected on the play to the fan. Now, what happens when that happens is that the blower starts to become disbalanced or imbalanced because there is one portion of the entire cylinder having a lot of oil collection and the other portion doesn't. So this causes something called a dynamic imbalance in the blower. Then you have a high static capacity requirement. This, as I mentioned earlier, backward inclined blower can be used for very high static capacity requirement. You can go with higher efficiency of fan because axial flow fan, by the nature of low performance, they have very low efficiency rating. That is why it is always recommended to go with a centrifugal backward inclined fan for kitchen ventilation needs. Motor, again, if you're looking at motors, if you have a proper motor, if you have IE4 or IE5 motor, you can play with it. That is, you have very high efficiency, and you can also go for VFD applications. What do I mean by VFD application here is I'll be discussing further. Moving to the second one, cooling the kitchen for the comfort. Now, a kitchen, when you're cooling it, you have to address how are you going to cool it. Now, in areas like Hyderabad or Rajasthan or areas that is very, very hot and not very humid, you can use a desert cooler. You can have air washers to supply air into the atmosphere of the kitchen. But again, that does not help you with the long run because that adds a lot of humidity into the atmosphere of the kitchen. So if that is not addressed, you tend to have a lot of issues in the future because you have moist or more development. And again, your equipment are not able to function very high humidity levels. Second part is we look at indirect and water air cooling. Indirect evaporative air cooling is a new type of technology is coming in that they have a special type of make of a pan before it enters the equipment, which sort of reacts with the warmer incoming. Now, the beauty here is that there is no direct contact between the medium and the air. So this does not increase the humidity of the air which is passing through. Second part, it is not allowing the water to be carried forth. And third, we have a lot of control in terms of static level. Coming back here, the cost of cooling, which is the cost of cooling compared to our DFL, which is treated freshly air conditioned air, is very, very high compared to indirect air cooling. Now, when you're doing that, you need to make sure two things. One is that the system design is properly done in such a way that the indirect air cooling outlet temperature is not beyond 25 degrees. Now, when the 25 degrees end up going to the kitchen, it ends up become 28 degrees. Any kitchen which is operating between the bandwidth of 28 to 30 is fine. But beyond a temperature of 30 degrees, the kitchen tends to become very, very difficult to work both in terms of thermal comfort as well as operational efficiency. Moving on. Operational energy efficiency opportunities. Now, this is the part where a lot of people who do audits or do retrofit jobs come into play. Now, you do not have a lot of opportunities where you're in design stage. You do not have any call for the design. So when you're looking at operational efficiency here, you can address it in multiple ways. We'll discuss with flow versus scrubber. So a lot of people have heard about scrubbers. What exactly are scrubbers? A scrubber is basically an equipment which sort of treats there. It filters there. Even though my baffle filter in the kitchen room does the filtration, there is about 5 to 20% loss of through bypass, which ends up corroding the ducts as well as the blade. If I have a scrubber at the vicinity of the room, I'm doing two things. One is I'm reducing the amount of filtration required inside the entire duct and the blower. Two is my entire air is purified before it is released in the atmosphere. Now, the previous generation, that is about 1990 to 2000, we had a lot of wet scrubbers being used. Wet scrubbers tend to have a lot of cost requirement and a lot of energy requirement. So that is why we have put something called a dry scrubber, which is this. That is an ESP. The ESP eliminates the requirement of putting a wet scrubber float. The reason is because one, it has a very, very high efficiency, as you can see, it is about 90 to 95. It is a dry type of energy system which saves water. Three, it has very, very low pressure drop after the filter. When I'm converting a normal exhaust unit into a wet scrubber, I add at least about 25% of power requirement into the system. So this can be addressed by having a dry scrubber, which is very, very static pressure requirement. Then you have electrostatic fluid, which are cleanable. Now, in terms of hotel industries or restaurant industries, a lot of places people put all the blowers, all the units on top of the terrace. The terrace is a place very rarely visited by any engineer, chief engineer or engineer or any kind of domestic engineer. So if you do not address this, it becomes difficult. That is how we do something called a static cell, which is clean. So this cell has user equipment, it is to the good, it is easier to clean, it is easier to work. Now, as you can see in this picture here, my scrubber is sitting right next to the chimney. The reason I put this is because one, when I'm cleaning my filter of my chimney, I can remove the cells from the scrubber itself and take it for water. Second part is I have a proper visualization of what exactly is going on with my scrubber. Right? You have an indication which tells you whether there is a choking or whether there is some kind of issue. Moving on. There's the capture efficiency is very high and it filters up to 0.01 micron. It's very low. So when you do that, you have almost zero type of everything related to atmosphere. That is, I do not have to work around trying to treat there in any other extra form of stuff. Some people go different opportunities where they go ozone masses, that is, they generate ozone near the chimney and they release it into the atmosphere and they release it during the inside the duct so that it reacts with all the oil and gas and creates carbon dioxide and water and they release into the atmosphere. Now, this ozone masses helps you in both treating of my odor as well as all inside the chimney as well as the duct. Now, that can be used, but the problem is we do not understand the requirement of ozone without properly understanding the application. That is, I cannot put my ozone generator equipment anywhere I want. It has to have a minimum length before it treats all the air. The smaller my duct is, the smaller amount of ozone generator I can put there. And that, they do not have any kind of new consumables. In case of wet scrubber, a consumable can be a pads or it can be a nozzles. As the water constantly being used over and over, the nozzles tend to end up getting choked. So to avoid this, we go with trying to have a dry scrubber which has almost no control at all. Again, the operation of plant because all my oils are arrested in this region before it even enters the building. Moving to the next one, demand control inflation. So demand control inflation is a new, I would say, a new thing in town where you have a special type of equipment which is monitoring the system constantly. That is, I have a system which is monitoring my kitchen equipment, my occupancy rate, my IEQ in the kitchen. So all these three put together, it knows exactly how many people are working at what kind of equipment and what timings. So when I know this properly, I can plan my ventilation requirement based on that. Now, demand control ventilation helps you bring one specific thing is that it helps you bring down your operational power. That is my running cost comes down very heavily because I am able to contain and ensure that my temperature of my system is going at a set point. If it goes beyond a specific temperature, it will go through a ramping up of the bill. Same thing if I'm having a huge kitchen with only one staff working on one idli, dosa, or batter, then I do not run system entire kitchen. My demand control inflation recognizes that there is only 1% available or 2% available in the entire kitchen. The ventilation requirement is this much. And the only area where they're working right now is near the veg preparation area. So my entire chimney can be off and address only where the staff is currently working. Here you can have two ways of addressing this way. Is one is time waste. If your operation team is very clear on terms of operation, that is, they know exactly what time the kitchen starts and what time it ends, it becomes very easily to terms with your time-based control ventilation. Yes, if I know my morning starts at say 8 in the morning to 11:30 is when my breakfast time is peak. I know that I can put in such a way that the moment it touches 8:30, my lower is your full speed. Same thing for lunch, same thing for dinner. Now, this helps you in reducing the requirement of power consumption in very heavy cases and also very actually needed. When a system is working only at say 5-10% operational requirement, why should I set the blower at 100% total? That is why a demand control ventilation helps in reducing the amount of energy being used as well as understand what the operation levels are. When you have a sensor-based demand control ventilation, what a sensor-based demand control ventilation are? They have multiple sensors across the area. It sends and gives a feedback to the microprocessor. Now, this microprocessor has to decide whether the ventilation requirement is very high or not. This can be done by having specifically positioned thermal sensor across the area. As you can see in the picture, you can see sort of a red line being projected onto the kitchen battery. What it does basically is it monitors the temperature of the tawa or the fryer or the burner underneath it. So it exactly knows how many equipment are being used at the same time, what is the temperature requirement for that, and what will be the power usage. Moving on, how do you address this here? Monitoring the conditions for ventilation. Here you can see that there are multiple sensors being here. We have a temperature sensor, I have an optic sensor, I have a VFD and system control. So as you can see, the optical sensor is used for one specific reason in that because it needs to sense the smoke. Now I have a temperature sensor which is inside the duct of the system or the pipe of the hood. Now till the temperature goes up heavily so that my system does not switch on. My system does not know whether there is some kind of cooking happening. So to address this problem, we have gone with the optical sensor. Now what this optical sensor does is it visualizes the amount of smoke being generated. Based on the type of smoke being generated, it will regulate the flow of the ventilation. This my demand control ventilation is dependent on two parameters here. One is thermal sensor and one is the optical sensor. So the third option also you can add is the AEEWI sensor. So a lot of places I've seen that even though there are multiple cooking happening, there is only one dedicated chef who is working on that. So in that case, your ventilation requirement for fresher does not need to be very high. For that same reason, we have gone with the AEEWI sensor, which helps you to know exactly how many people are currently working in the kitchen. This helps you reduce your fresher energy usage. So I hope everyone is getting the gist of this. This is an example of what it looks like. As you can see, 12.5 is approximately my load condition. That is, if I don't have a demand control ventilation with a VFD, I'm constantly running to 12.5 kilowatt on the entirety of the day. My entire kitchen is running at 12.5, be it day, be it night, be it low staff, be it a full staff, or be it no staff. So the way you can work here is when you do demand control ventilation, your temperature senses it, optical sensor understand what the smoke is, and optical sensor will exactly how you will it. When all these three are complicated, your energy is going to drop very much because you are able to understand and map out where is the nutrition requirement coming to be. If I'm having 6 batteries but only 4 are working with half operation, you can modulate your blower based on the same requirement. I hope this is being quite clear because it will be for some people. Again, looking into final steps here, energy saving tips for commercial kitchen operators and staff. A lot of places I've seen that even though the chefs are talking and they're not working in the same area, the kitchen equipment is constantly on. That is, my burner is at full fledged running in operation, even though there is no human intervention of any kind. This leads to a lot of energy usage, a lot of fuel usage, and a lot of power usage. These two, and the ventilation requirement is constantly on because of which my requirement of IIT also goes up heavily. Secondly, optimizing kitchen equipment settings, that is, adjusting the temperature setting and the other parameters here. A lot of places we have seen that a Chinese burner does not require that much amount of gas to actually cook it. The issue here, what happened is, in terms of optimizing kitchen equipment setting, is that the operation, that is the chef or the operator of the food, is very, very dependent on the temperature. So it is very difficult to map out this specific operation part here. You cannot decrease the temperature of a cooking equipment because of the same reason, because the style of cooking from a chef varies as he moves on. I've seen a lot of places where the new chef, that is a chef with less than a year or 2 years of experience, is cooking the same Chinese dish at very, very high flame, but the same operation that is done by experienced chef of 10 years is able to achieve the same cooking at a lower flame. The reason this happened because it comes with tenure and experience of the equipment and the chef. So this is something very, very subjective and it can be addressed only with very, very few equipment. Again, training the staff for kitchen energy saving appliances. What we can do here is we can train the staff. We can give them opportunities to improve. We had one person from a hotel industry who was a chef, who was not a chief engineer, who was not an operation manager, who was a chef. He said, I need you to help me out with decreasing the gas consumption in a kitchen. Now, how we address that is we even studied the equipment. We try to understand what is the reason he was saying this. When we look at it, we found that the equipment were using almost 20% higher gas consumption. Now, this was noticed by this chef specifically. So he said, "Can you help me with a new equipment?" Now, the thing was, the budget also has to be looked at. So we came back to them and we said, "Sir, we can help you with one more thing." What we did was we changed the burner of the equipment. As we changed the burner of the equipment, we found there was significant saving because one, the cooking was happening more evenly. Two, the gas consumption was coming down very much, about 40% was down on that. And it was having a very, very low amount of fuel gas being used. So that helped me decrease my amount of cooking. Again, coming back, as I mentioned here, training the staff. The more you incentivize energy saving practices with your staff, the more opportunities you have. The operational point of view, you can also reach out to chief engineers of hotels that you can help them understand exactly how to address any kind of a kitchen to save energy. It can be in terms of kitchen equipment, it can be in terms of ventilation equipment, it can be in terms of anything. So they have to be notified that there are opportunities for saving energy. One of the best ways to do that actually moving to a more different kind of electrical appliances. Second thing is you can go with operation well in terms of energy, that is the motors. I have been to a few hotels where the same motor has been using the same load for the last 15, 20 years. Now this motor was done manufactured in 2020, sorry, 2002, and has been running for the last 21 years with the same operation efficiency. When I checked the actual consumption, it was using almost about 8 kilowatt of energy. I told them, "Sir, you do not have to use the same motor, you can change the motor itself." We did a retrofit of a BLDC motor where we were able to significantly decrease the amount of energy requirement. The second part where the chef was very happy was he said, "I want to decrease my energy consumption furthermore." So what we did here was we made a time-based operation. That is, we told them, "Sir, you need to give us a specific requirement of your schedule." So if I know my schedule, I can time-based operation of your blower. Yes, he gave a very specific schedule. He said, "My chef starts cooking at 6 in the morning, but it doesn't switch on the equipment till 8 a.m. That is 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. There is no cooking happening. There is preparation of food. That is, all my vegetables are being cut, vegetables are being sorted out." So in this case, I do not need very high amount of ventilation rate. So what we did was we retrofitted with a VFD saturator. We decreased the ventilation rate to 30% of the actual. So there you had a proper ventilation rate for the thermal comfort of the staff, and you had enough for the smell to go. As the clock ticked 8 o'clock, the system slowly started ramping up the blower to a point where the cooking operation started. Then again, we give them a manual override where we give them an option that if suppose there is a special location where we need to start the operation very in the beginning itself, that is 6 o'clock in the morning itself, they have a manual override to that. So these kind of practices are very, very useful with the operation team as well as the chef team. So reach out to your operation staff, reach out to the chefs, ask them where the opportunity for them to see. Moving on. I think this concludes my presentation. Thanks for giving me this opportunity.
Yeah. Thank you, Anmol. It was a great presentation. Only like if we could have a better sound quality, it would have been better. But looking towards the slides and the content, so that was really good. And as they say, kitchen is where you put all the ingredients together. No matter what you do in life, you have to have a plan and put it together. So, I mean, even if it is a commercial kitchen, there are so many things involved. And I mean, it is cooking is not just art, but also a science. And with new technologies coming in and trying to improve the efficiency in kitchen. Normally, what I have seen in all these years, that like even in hospitality industry, when it comes to energy efficiency, kitchen is not touched by the auditors just because the knowledge is not there in the auditors, and also they don't want to disturb the way the things are cooked. But like with the proper study and proper technology, use of proper technologies, definitely we can address the issues of energy efficiency in kitchens also. So thank you very much for your presentations. And now I open the floor for the questions. Yeah, I can see Vaibhav. Yeah, Vaibhav, let me allow you to talk.
One funny point I'd like to add here. The most fearful person in the entire hotel industry is not the owner of the hotel, it is the chef who is working with all the other chefs. So if you mellow down with the chef, you are totally in with the owner itself. So yeah, the entry point of any hotel should always be a chef is my motto. So as you become more close to the chef, it helps you get better understanding to understand the kitchen better.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, Vaibhav, please go on with your question.
Actually, I joined from a different screen. My name is Anish. I know you. I'm part of SEAM Kerala chapter. And I'm working in IIT Indore as energy. Yeah. So we do energy audits in some experience in buildings also. So I have one question, which is specifically it is related to kitchen. Okay. So long time we have been also analyzing this case. See, for producing hot water for drinking, hot water for drinking. So we use LPG. We used to most of the houses they boil water and drink. So is that energy efficient, or this we can purify the water using water purifier, that aqua god or something?
Yes.
So which is energy efficient, and also which is having monetary benefit? This is one debatable thing which we are also every day discussing.
Yes, it's a very difficult question, sir, because again it comes to two specific parameters here. A lot of places water become very, very crucial. So the cost of having a water purifier with proper heating is very, very significant, because I've seen that there's a huge change of hotel industry where they're starting to manufacture their own water, because they're having a water plant inside the hotel itself. So this can be addressed by having a sort of a STP plant inside the kitchen that can address your both your rainwater as well as your normal water as well. But if the hotel does not have a dedicated STP or a water purification plant, the cost parameter is very, very significant. I've seen a lot of areas where putting a heat pump is not the only solution here. You need to have a proper treatment of water. As you use a lot of water, there is spilling, which also leads to a lot of temperature gradient in the pipes also. So again, it's very difficult actually to know until you know all the parameters in place here. You need to know the water type of water being used, the TPM level, the type of heating applied water being used. It can be heat pump, it can be boiler, it can be anything. So I've seen small cases where a dedicated restaurant is there inside a kitchen where they do not have a boiler pipe. They have a small geyser. This geyser is used only for the heating of the water inside the kitchen. So if you're able to isolate this, you're able to have a significant power saving in terms of that. Again, it depends on the application. You can actually you can take my details from Smartman and you can discuss this after.
Yeah, definitely. I will share the details with you, Mr. Vaibhav. I will share the details of Anmol with you. And yeah,
Thank you.
we now move on to the next question. It is from Mr. R.L. Birla. Mr. Birla, you may talk. You're allowed to talk.
I don't know where is the sign for the talking over here on the microphone. I think directly going. Are you able to listen to me?
Yeah. Yes. We are able to hear you. Please.
First of all, I wanted to say that this was a great presentation, basically because nobody talks about kitchens. When I saw the subject, I was thinking whether I should attend it or not. But then I found that the amount of detail which has been really shared by the speaker is commendable.
Yes.
I mean, there is no doubt about this.
Thank you, sir.
I got only one issue or two issues rather, I would say. First of all, there is no scope for chatting. At least our reaction, your voice was in between getting broken down, and we are not able to listen very clearly. So there should be some option for chatting so that at least somebody can see and at least correct the situation. That's what I see.
Yeah. No, that was there in question answer box, and like we are receiving messages over there. But since it was some technical issue, it really could not be handled at this moment.
What does a person do? At least you can on chatting, you can at least know, okay, this is the issue. But here we are not able to say, only the reaction can be explained to you.
Sir, this gives me an opportunity to talk. please, sir, not to the audience.
Secondly, you have
Yes.
said about the fans in particular and
Correct.
about the ESP. Now,
Correct.
fans, one area which I feel is that you are, to my knowledge, I mean, at least maybe that I not been able to listen properly, but your axial fan advantage has not been brought out very well. That's what I feel.
Okay.
So axial
Okay.
fan advantage, because today the people are preferring axial fan because of higher efficiency, maybe because of lightweight, whatever may be the reason. But at least that can be highlighted in a slightly better way. And secondly, sorry, shall I speak? Continue.
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
Please
yeah.
go, please go.
Yes.
The second portion is that when you are showing the photograph of the centrifugal fan, I found the rotor is in the center, which is not really so, because your diagram, the photo and the diagram which you showed was slightly mismatching. So I thought that
Yes.
you can at least take
No,
care of this aspect
this-
also at the same time. When you are making a great presentation, I would say that it can be technically also maybe correct, so that the viewers can at least see the impact of your talk. That's the way I feel.
Yes, the type of fan what you are talking about is something called a mixed flow air fan. What I've shown is the axial fan. Now, these are maximum used by the staircase preservation or I would say building preservation fans. The reason because I put this specifically because if you go to any small restaurant, you'll find they use this fan very much.
Voice
When
has
we
totally
started,
become distorted. Sorry, I'm sorry. Your voice has
Yeah,
totally
okay.
become distorted.
I'll do one thing. I'll switch on my camera. So one of the reason I put that image specifically is because that fan is very low in cost, and that is maximum used by all the restaurant people. The issue we have had over the last 20 years, I've seen that there is the constant two things happen. One is the motor burns out because all the oil gets deposited onto the motor hub and it burns it out. Second thing is the oil starts collecting on one of the blades or on the bearing. So this causes imbalance and it ends up breaking apart the entire fan. So that is the reason I put the specific fan. The fan what you're talking about is I know what you're talking about which fan. It is called a mixed flow air fan, where the motor is not an airstream, it is a different type of fan. So again, I need to educate people of the actual kind of fan what is there. If you go to any hotels, you'll see they have a centrifugal fan. That is, it can be a DIW or an SIW fan, which generally where it is treated and being thrown towards the fan. If I have, as I showed an image where I showed an SIW fan. The motor is outside the airstream, so I do not need to have any kind of treatment of the air. If I'm having a DIW fan, which is a double inlet, double bridge fan, that is where I need to isolate my motor or I need to treat my air before it enters the blower. So that fan are very much used, and they are the new trend right now is something called EC fan. This again is because of the electronic age that we have had a lot of development, and they have been very power efficient and very easy to use. But yes, thank you for your kind words, sir. I will take that in notice.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. See, we have will be uploading this presentation on our this LinkedIn page. So I have given the link of the LinkedIn page in the chat box. And second, there is one more question that we'll be taking up.
Madam, we are not able to see any chat box. Where is the chat box?
You can see
It's in the
question
background,
answer.
sir.
On the right side you will see. Sorry, left side you will see.
Side, there's only a mute and audio, and then you got a question and answer. Then only polls.
Question and
Yeah.
answer. That question and answer itself is a chat box. There you can see.
Question answer. There is nothing. There is no chat box.
No, it is available.
It's only polls and question and answer. That's it.
But yes, sir. Birla sir, you can reach out to me directly. You can reach out to me directly. We can talk
Yeah.
about this.
Anyways, you can go to our LinkedIn page and see. We will also be sending the links in our next mail. You'll be getting the link of the presentations. Okay. And now we have another question. So it is from Mr. Gopal. So he says, how the energy efficiency can be achieved in railways pantry car?
Very, very good question, sir. Railways by nature itself is very difficult. One is because it's a government area, but the government already started. Second point is you can go with more of, I would say, standard working. You do not have all the equipment being used at the same time. It becomes very difficult unless you have proper schedule. So if you have, normally I've seen that in cases like this, where you do not have an F&B manager who can help you plan the menu and plan the schedule of the kitchen, it becomes difficult. So the right way to do is, one is more into electrical equipment, two, having a proper scheduling of your cooking operation. This helps you to reduce your temperature and your energy by staggering out your energy usage throughout the day. A lot of places, due to the demand of the working and operations, they try to all the food at the same time, which leads to a lot of hazard cooking. So if you have some kind of time-based cooking, that can help you significantly there.
Okay, I hope that answers your question. And now another question is again by Mr. Vaibhav. It is told that induction cooker is energy efficient. Will it take more time to cook the same recipe in comparison with the LPG?
I think you can try it out yourself because you can go to any electrical boiling. The time it takes to boil water in normal using gas, Garka gas, and electrical can be significantly seen because it's very easy to see because the water is boiling in no time. Induction by nature itself is very, very quick to work with, and they have more even and more temperature relay kind of operation. So that is why it is very, very preferred by the sweet industry. The namkeen and the sweet industry are slowly moving to induction equipment because they want a very even flow of making any kind of sweet, that is when they're making halwa or any kind of sweets like Mysore pak. They want very even kind of cooking. So that is why they're slowly moving to induction based cooking. I hope I answered the question.
Yeah. Yeah. For further questions, you may write to us at aeewesternindia@gmail.com. That is our email address. Or you can also reply to the email that you have received and after registration, so that we can answer to your questions. And further, we would like to know if you have taken membership or interested in taking membership, please let us know, because this is the month of November and by December all the memberships are done for AEE. And AEE, you can directly apply to the website for membership and just let us know your membership numbers. So we do not charge any membership fees from the chapter side. It is directly from the AEE headquarters at USA. And just let us know your membership numbers, and so that we can involve you in our further activities. Yeah. So thank you so much. Thank you for your patient listening. It was, today we had a very challenging for the voice and really could not help anything about it. Extremely sorry for that. And yeah. So Mr. Gopal could not understand the answer. So whosoever your questions are with us, and definitely we will be answering you personally also. All the question answer will be replied personally also. Thank you so much. Thanks for attending. See you on the next Friday. And yeah, till then, goodbye. Thank you, Anmol.
Thank you.